What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to Thomas Gallery. Today I want to talk about art and sex. Ooh. Yes, art and sex grow up. We're all adults here, some of us. Anyway, when people think of sex, a lot of times in this country, people think of a lot of times, unfortunately, pornography, right? But I'm gonna take art and sex from a holistic, as in WHOLE, holistic perspective. Art, well, the human body, when it comes to art, have always been depicted in many different ways. Depending on the civilization you're in, or the time period that you're in, your human anatomy has been shown in many different forms. You may have the ancient Egyptian perspective of the body, where it's very, vertical, very robotic, like, say, walk like Egyptian, like, this and stuff like that. You have your Japanese point of view, or your overall Asian point of view. You have your Native American point of view, or your American Indigenous Americans point of view. You have your overall African point of view. You have your European point of view. You have the point of view of the Renaissance. You have the point of view of the Vikings, the Roman Empire, the ancient cultures in South America. You have the Inca, Aztecs, Mayans. I know it's not South America, but still, you get the point. But when it comes to sex and art coupled with sex, things seem to get a little tricky. We have, I think, probably the most painted or the most drawn image in human history is the nude body. The nude body. And I think it stems from just an overall sense of curiosity about what things are. When you were a little kid, you look down and you say, oh, what's that? Or why do I have this? And he has this, or what's this called? Or why do we have this? Or what does it do? Things like that. Human beings are curious by nature. We've always had a curiosity about things that are either unknown or kept away. And for a long period of time, the human body has always been covered up. It's always been considered so sacred that you cover it up, which has led to the full-on artistic onslaught when it comes to showing the nude figure, whether it be just showing a model, just male or female, just posing, or it can show sexual acts in art. There are depictions in ancient civilizations of what may be considered pornography. Yes, you have them. You have them in ancient Greece, Rome. You have them in some African cultures. You have them in European cultures, Asian cultures. We all have them. We all dealt with the subject of sex and sexual intercourse. But we also done with this. Come to sex, we dealt with gender when it comes to sex. The painting of, you may see a painting of ancient Greece of Pan, the satyr, which is considered a hermaphrodite, which is the offspring of Hermes and Aphrodite coming together, making a half man, half goat, hermaphrodite. That's where the word comes from. But art has either deified or vilified sex and the human anatomy. Depending on, like I said, depending on what time period you're in, you can do a painting that will uplift the human anatomy, make it seem like it's the most perfect form in the creation. Or you can do another form of art that vilifies, and it will be seen as vulgar. Like we see Christian paintings of Adam and Eve. They're always covered up. You have the little fig leaf and all that stuff, and they're always covered up. Or you may see a picture of a woman who's naked, but she may have long flowing hair that covers her breast. Okay? these things were considered shameful and covered up. So we don't want to talk about them. We don't, if we can't see them, we can't talk about them. We can't talk about them. We can't discuss them. We can't discuss them. We can't really dive into the subject matter. Therefore, revealing some things you may not want to know. So, like I said, but you have both sides of the spectrum. You have deified and vilified. Some cultures consider the nude figure beautiful, like you have Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. It's a nude man, but he is showing in this image that the human form is the most perfect form. Okay? But you may have a period like the iconoclast where you may have statues of naked men and women who have their quote unquote private parts broken off or covered. Okay? And so it won't be, so people won't look at it with awe and with pleasure. They look at it with disgust and disdain, and therefore say, okay, well, the human figure is bad to look at. The naked figure is bad to look at. You even have some visual images of the story of Noah, where his son saw him, in his nude form and got upset. These things put images in your mind subconsciously that either the nude figure is something to behold as good or something to behold as bad. Okay? There hasn't really been a gray area when it comes to art and sex. It's either I like it or I don't. It's like there's a thin line between sensuality and pornography. There's a thin line between the scientific aspect and the perverted aspect. It's always been when it comes to sex and art, it's always been a thin line between the two. And I think in this day and age, when it comes to the advent of social media, I think we are starting to, some cases, it's not always the case. Some places in America and other parts of the world, it's still, that strict, this is bad. But I think now more than ever, since we have so much access to the nude body, we have so much access to the nude body in all its various forms of media. We have it in our pornographic form. We have it in our scientific form. But we are now in a place where it is abundant. You can't go anywhere without seeing. You can't go open up a magazine and there's a nude woman or partially nude woman or nude man or partially nude man. So it's in your face so much that it's either have done one or two things in terms of artistically. You either can have a artistic curiosity about it and say, okay, well, this is just the human body like everyone else. I have the same thing this image has, so there's no difference. So I don't see it as something bad or perverted or evil or something that should be condemned. So as an artist, I will dive into it and see where it takes me. On the other hand, you have some artists that say, okay, well, this should be covered up. This is not art. This is pornographic. This is bad. I don't like this. In fact, whenever I see an image that is either nude or suggestive, I will show my disdain for it artistically. So we have both. But sex and art, like politics and art, it really delves to the subconscious. It really goes to the subconscious. Okay? And it doesn't really come to the forefront unless confronted. If it's not really confronted, the new images, they just go in the back of the mind. You don't really think about it. But when you are confronted with it in your face, then it hits you, and you have a reaction to it, whether positive or negative. You have a reaction to it. Okay, so that's just my little spin on art and sex. Okay, let me know what you all think. Right down in the comment section. Let's dialogue. I'll holler at y'all later. Right? Peace.